This is Sarah, and I just want to take a moment to speak to you about this week's sponsor, Favor. Favor, Inc. is a statewide family-led nonprofit 501c3 organization that is committed to empowering families as advocates and partners in improving educational and health outcomes for our children. Favor is the Connecticut state organization of the Federation of Families for Children's Mental Health. Favor offers a single place for families with children who have medical, mental, emotional, and behavioral health challenges to find information, assistance, and training. To find out more about Favor, please go to favor-ct.org. We are grateful for our opportunity to work with Favor as a sponsor, and now on to the rest of the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Caregiver Chronicles. My name is Sarah, and today I'm here with my husband, Jeremy.
Hello.
And today we are here for our September family update of
2022.
Yeah. And what a month it has been.
It's been a wild ride.
It's been a roller coaster, to say the least. I just want to start by saying not everything that happens in our personal life we share in Caregiver Chronicles. We share a great deal of it, but we can't always share everything. And we had a big letdown this month, I would say. Something happened. It's kind of a big letdown. We are all okay. We are all going to be okay. But the outpour of love and support from family and friends has gotten us really in a better place, like, with everything.
Yes, absolutely. You know, in moments like these, you find out who your friends are, and we found out in a big way, and we're so thankful to all of them who stepped up and helped us when we needed it most.
And I think we also found out that we had more friends than we thought we ever did.
Absolutely.
Because it was only a few people who really knew the situation. It's not a situation we're ready to publicly share yet. And the few people who knew were right there. So thank you. I just want to say, I know that a lot of these friends and family listen, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, truthfully, thank you guys so much. And those of you who know, you know. And if you don't know, someday we'll share the story. It'll be a story time someday, I'm sure. We're just not ready for it yet.
Absolutely. But with that, let's get on to some of the other big things that happened. Some of them are even happy.
Yes. Oh my God. The best thing that happened this month is the kids started school.
Yes, Sarah finally has free time.
Well,
that she can devote to the podcast.
I now have time that I can work on Caregiver Chronicles during the day, which is so good for me because this is therapeutic for me. Like, recording and sharing our family story and getting to meet other caregivers, talk to family caregivers, and just working on this. This is, like I said, this is my third baby. This is something I'm so proud of, and I put so much heart into that, you know, just to be back into it means so much to me. But I do want to talk a little bit more about the kids and their back to school journeys. So Remy started at a new school. We talked about outplacement, and we chose the school that he was going to be outplaced at. And I personally think it's going to go really well there.
It's already going better most days than last year did, so that's a big plus.
Yes, this school has a heavy focus on SEL, which is social and emotional learning. So SEL is also controversial right now, and I do want to cover that in a future episode, but I don't have a guest who's really qualified, so if you do know someone who's really qualified in SEL to come talk about it, I would love that. I just want to throw that out there. But I digress, and back to what I was saying. This new school has, like, an agricultural program that is really great. He's learning farming, and he's learning greenhouse, like how to grow plants. He's also learning music, like to play an instrument. They have a running club. They have a chess club, and he's kind of doing academics at his own pace, but also getting a huge emphasis on social and emotional learning, which is so important.
Yes, last year was very tough because of the public school system and the curriculums that they have. They're wonderful things, but they don't always meet the needs of every child. And Remy was struggling a lot through the pandemic as we were coming out of it with, virtual learning and returning to class and wearing a mask for a bit and then having and then having differing problems to where he was just overwhelmed. And if we look around at the past 2 years, a lot of adults did not handle the social and emotional aspects well. So how can we expect an 11-year-old to do the same? So, he needed help. The school was proactive in suggesting outplacement. We were proactive in looking at the places around the area to help him, and we found one that fits his needs. It does do the social emotional learning. It does allow him to get out of the classroom and actually learn in a more hands-on environment, which is great. And it does appeal to things. And the other thing is, his school day doesn't start until 8:15, and so he's not up at 5:30 and having to be on a bus at 6:30 and needing to, needing an MP3 player. We got that for him earlier this year for his birthday to try to help him on the bus and in the classroom to calm him. He's not taking it because he doesn't feel like he needs it.
Yep. And also he still has the academic challenges and things like that that's part of what makes Remy Remy. He's a very smart little boy and he needs to be challenged academically, and when he's not, it shows in his behavior. So just, we're super excited for this new start for him. We think that this is going to be a great year, and we have hopes that things are going to go very well, and, I think that they are.
Yeah, he has come home happier more days than he this year than he may have all of last year.
Yeah.
And we're, 2-3 weeks into the school year?
Yeah, and I haven't seen, there's still meltdowns, but they're not as much with him, which is great. And Joey also started a new school.
Yeah, that one was a little bit wilder, because we didn't know who his teacher was till about 2 days before school started.
We didn't even know who she was 2 days before. We didn't know till that day.
Fair point. We didn't know if they had a teacher 2 days before. And then we got an email about that. But it was all crazy. He's still in the regular public school system, but he's still in the self-contained classes that he needs. He moved, he moved from the school that covers kindergarten and first grade to the one that covers second through fourth grade. As he's now 7, he is in second grade. The teacher is learning quickly. Now, we do know that a couple of the other, he's got 3 one-on-ones, and then there are a couple of other people who worked with him at the old school who also work at the new school, so they came over and kind of helped ease the transition for him. And so we're learning a lot, but we're in constant contact with his teacher, but she is on top of it, so I'm very comfortable with that. So, Joey's case is always going to be a special one, so it means a lot to know that somebody's looking out for him.
Absolutely, and it's nerve-wracking it was more nerve-wracking for me sending Joey in on his first day of school in a new school where I didn't know who's going to be working with him and who knew him and who didn't know him and what they knew and what they didn't know versus Remy. And I hate to compare my kids, but one kid cannot advocate for himself at all, and that's Joey. And he is the kid that will take off, that doesn't understand danger and cannot advocate for himself. And so to send him in any kind of new environment and not know who's working with him is terrifying for me as a mother.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we would have liked the communication sooner, but like I said, the people that are working with him, we're very happy with what they've done so far.
Yes, and we made sure too that we made it very clear that not communicating with us is unacceptable. We need to know a lot about his day. We took him to school the first day and we got out of the car with him, and we're hoping that they were going to let us in the building to meet his teacher. And when one of the teachers, Paris, who works at the school, who knew Joey, saw us and we're like, well, we haven't talked to Joey's teacher yet. We just got to let them know some things. There have been changes that happened and that's the other thing too, is there were big changes that happened last summer, and some of the staff that worked with Joey last year were unaware of his seizure and were unaware that he's on different medication now and things like that. So we needed to make sure that all this stuff was communicated, and I needed to make sure that I let the school nurse know and brought his emergency meds in and had paperwork filled out. And because of that, I think the school's done a great job of keeping a very close eye on him, advocating for him, and also telling me he had one off day this past week, and just letting me know, like, hey, we're keeping a close eye on him. He's having an off day. And we kept a close eye on him at home that day as well, because we noticed it too. And, we're grateful for that. But we need to make sure that we're always advocating for our kids when they can't advocate for themselves. If they can advocate for themselves, then let them do it. And if they can't, then we need to step up to that plate for them and make sure that everybody that needs to know is aware that this is our kid, these are his needs, these are his likes, dislikes, wants, and this is how we do things in our house. And I think so far, this year with him, it's going pretty well too. It was just that first little hiccup of getting to meet his teacher and finding out his classroom and stuff.
Yes, but, we're excited. It looks like things are looking up this school year.
Yes. And with all of that comes, like, new routines, new schedules. Remy is back to running cross country, which we talked about that a little bit last year. He really loves doing it. So actually our town, the public school system, because he's still part of the public school program, he's just outplaced, he was able to participate in cross country. So there was a little bit of confusion the first day of school of whether or not he'd be able to and what all the rules were with that. I did call and speak to the school, speak to the athletic director. I had his physical, all the things that he needed. And we were really excited when he did get to run. It's made my afternoons a bit hectic because it involves going from the outplaced school to the public school to go get my other kiddo at school, to go back to pick up Remy from cross country, bring Remy home, and then take Joey to therapy, because now all the therapies are back to after school. So my afternoons are just like, I think the word is insane. They're just insane. They're crazy. There's a lot of driving around. There's going back and forth to different schools. But that being said, and I'm lucky that we could do this and that we've been able to, like, get by doing this, but that's the whole reason why I'm staying home right now and not working, because this would not be possible if I wasn't home.
Yeah, I mean, if you were still working, I would have to still be on overnights, and then I would be doing all this and getting up at weird times and going crazy.
I don't think you could do it on overnights. I think it would be too much. And so with me being home, it makes it so I actually have the time to invest in spending time. But from between picking my kids up in school and bringing them to therapies and stuff, I start this journey at like 1:30 p.m. or 1:45-ish p.m. and we're not home till almost 6 o'clock most nights.
It's a wild and crazy time.
It sure is. But, that's my role right now as a mom, and I recognize it. It's stressful, but it is. But Jeremy actually has some exciting, really positive news, because he has a little change up in his routine.
Yes. I have been hired by Phantom Sports Industries to write articles for them. I was initially hired to write about the Red Sox. I offered to write about the Patriots as well, and they're like, well, we don't have a Patriots writer, and then I offered to write about NASCAR. And so now, I'm required to write 8 articles a month for them. I just wrote my 10th one for September, so I'm ahead of the game on that.
Woohoo!
Woo! Yeah, and so it's been another creative outlet for me on top of the Disney Plus stuff, which I'm still writing for them. And so I can get away from the hassle of, local news where I normally work, and can just write about things that are just not so dismal. When
Jeremy and I first met, I don't know how many of you know our hopes and dreams when we first met, but one of Jeremy's goals was to be involved in sports, either television or sports writing, producing sports, working for possibly ESPN or something like that. And this is a dream for him. This has been a dream of his for a long time. And when I got his first article, when he sent me his first article and I read it, I sent it to everybody I knew, and I was so excited because it was like, here he is writing articles on sports. This is what he's always wanted to do. And now he's here, and I'm so proud and so excited for him. And it might not be the exact way that he envisioned or planned it, but it's really close to that goal, and I'm just super proud and excited. So I encourage all of our listeners to give Jeremy a follow on his personal accounts.
Yes, I'm Jeremy Brown on Facebook, at Jeremy Brown 1985 on Twitter, Jeremy_A Brown on Instagram.
And also, if you follow our social medias, a lot of times he posts, so you might be able to see his posts through there. I think you should put your personal tags on our Caregiver Chronicles stuff, and we can tell people to give you a follow.
All right,
so,
I will.
And he's on LinkedIn, too. He's the guy with the Emmy on LinkedIn. The Jeremy Brown with the Emmy. But, yeah, give him a follow if you're interested in sports, especially if you follow Red Sox, Patriots, or NASCAR, because all of his articles get published on social media, and we share them. I share them as well. So, but definitely give him a follow. He also does these really fun Disney battles, and all of his What's on Disney Plus articles are on there too. So if you want to know more about Jeremy, follow him there, because he's an awesome dude and deserves all the followers he can get, especially for his sports stuff and his fun stuff.
Yay!
Yay!
My mom came up for a visit. She's been here. They were recording on Sunday night. She got here Wednesday. She's flying out on Tuesday. She came and she actually went with us to Joey's neurologist appointment on Thursday. We took her apple picking on Friday. On Saturday, we took her up to Salem and to Lexington and Concord so she could see some of the historical sites in Massachusetts. And then today, she she needed a day of rest. I needed a day of rest. Sarah had to work, so, So we, she sat around while Remy jumped around watching football, and Joey just was Joey.
Well, there's no rest for the wicked. Let's say that first. I guess I'm the wicked. So there's no rest for the wicked. But it was quite a trip with my mother-in-law. It was a good time having her here, as always. And I did want to talk about Joey's neurology appointment too. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit onto that. Joey's neurology appointment went very, very well. It was a we'll see you in 9 months, keep doing what you're doing appointment, which we were glad to hear. There were no concerns, no issues. We had lab work done for him before, the day before the appointment, and he did really well. So I am just thrilled about that. And I wanted to share that. That's good news. He still hasn't had another seizure. The doctor's not sure if he ever will or if that will change. We don't know. We know what to do if he does. And, keep doing what we're doing to prevent it, kind of. So, which is exciting. We did push your mom out of her comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, we made her try Chinese food. Well, Asian food.
Yeah, we had her try Chinese food, and I think Salem was a little bit of a comfort zone push. A little bit.
Well, yeah.
Not too much, but it was cool. It was a really cool visit, though. It was just, I don't know, it was just really cool. It was great. And, I love it when Jeremy's family can come, because unfortunately he doesn't, we see my family all the time. I think you get sick of my family.
You said that, not me. Yeah, we see your family all the time because they're, 2 towns over. It's only a 40-minute drive, so that's a lot easier to do. My parents live halfway across the country. Other members of my family live in multiple other states, so, it makes sense that we would see your family more.
Yeah. But it's always nice when your family comes up because, like I said, we don't see them much, and it's just nice, and I know that you just feel good having them around. So I don't know, it's always nice to have my in-laws up to visit. And that's, kind of just something that I've been doing, is spending time with my mother-in-law and, my kids, and apple picking. We did apple picking. Did we mention that?
Yes, we mentioned that.
Okay. Oh, and I made that apple thing. Oh, I made this apple cake thing. It was so good. So anyway, that's just some stuff that we've been working on, or that we've been doing, that we've been up to. Another thing with the kids back in school, I am back to working on recordings and things like that with Caregiver Chronicles. We have some really good episodes that came out recently. Some interesting one, Dawn from Traveling Caregivers, that was pretty interesting. We also had Melissa Miller. That was a great interview. Definitely check that out. And then we have an energy healer coming up next week, which I'm really excited about. She's going to talk about emotional freedom technique tapping. Her name is Lauren Fanville, and it's just a really good episode. And I think that next week's episode is going to be really great for anybody with a lot of stress in their life, because the emotional freedom technique, it's actually a technique that I've started using. And then another episode we recently published was Autism and Yoga, and that was with Gina Euricchio. That was a great interview, too. Gina was just a very kind, warm person, and I really loved recording with her. I am booking guests right now for Caregiver Chronicles. I just changed up my whole system of how I book guests. I think I made it easier with editing, too, for Jeremy. So I just started booking guests, and instead of just meeting my guests, sometimes I meet my guests. I don't get to meet my guests, unfortunately, until recording day. So now I have pre-chat, so I get to meet my guests before, which I'm so excited about doing that, because every single guest that I've had, I don't think that there's been any guest that I haven't really liked yet. Just to be able to meet my guests beforehand means so much to me, and I'm so excited about it. And I also took the time to digitize my calendar, finally, for Caregiver Chronicles. And it's just made, booking guests so much easier right now. We are getting full fast. So if you are interested in coming on, and if you are, I would love to have you on. Right now, I really want to emphasize, this new season, this new time for Caregiver Chronicles. I really want to emphasize stories of caregivers, like family caregivers, to come on and share their stories. I want nurses, doctors, to share their stories more than products and things, which we have great things and tools and products that we share, because, if we don't think it's going to help a caregiver, we're not going to share it. But if we think it's good for you guys to hear and something good for a family caregiver, something we might consider using, we want you on, but we really want to share more stories, I think. Yes. I think that's kind of where we're going now.
Yes, absolutely. More stories, more personal caregiving, testimonies. It's, it's a great way to communicate and to inspire others.
Exactly. And that's been one thing that's always that's helped me, is talking to other moms who are going through something similar, or other caregivers who have been through something similar. It's so validating, both for me and them. So, if you're a family caregiver and you listen to our show, and, you're tuning in every week or every other week or when you can, and you're like, I have a story to share and I've been afraid to share it, just come on. It's just a conversation, and it's always fun. So that's one, big, huge thing that I've been working on with Caregiver Chronicles, is rescheduling guests or scheduling guests. And like I said, I am starting to book up quick, which I am thrilled about, because that's kind of my goal. And then also, we have a few other new interesting things. We just started the Buy Me a Coffee. So if you want to support our podcast, you can go on there. You can actually click on our show notes, and the link for that is on every note.
Yes, it's in the description on YouTube, and in the description on any of the podcasting platforms you go through. We have the links on there. You should be able to click on them. If not, if you find a way to copy the URL, you can put it in there as well. It's just a way to help support us, and it's just kind of a way to help support us if you want. Do not feel obligated at all. It's kind of similar to Patreon or Bandcamp. It's just it's called Buy Me a Coffee, and like I said, I've been including it when I edit it in the podcasting platform show notes and descriptions, and in the YouTube show notes and descriptions.
But again, please do not feel obligated to donate to our show. If you want to, it's a great help, because we don't really get paid. We have a sponsor, but It's not a lot. It's enough to cover equipment. Don't feel like you have to do this. The best way to support our show is to share us with a friend. Listen to us, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, a rating, especially if you listen on like Apple or Amazon or Spotify. Most platforms that you might listen on, they give you the opportunity to subscribe or leave a rating or a thumbs up. Please do that. That is one of the best ways to support our show. Also, sharing us. Share our show with a friend. Everybody knows somebody who is a family caregiver, who has a child on the spectrum, who is neurodivergent, who, works in healthcare or whatever. Everybody knows somebody. And, sharing our show with a friend, it helps us. It helps them, we hope. And that's just one of the best ways that you can support us. So those are the best, absolute, hands down, easiest, best ways to support us is a like, a subscribe, a review, and a share. If you want to go the extra step, and you can go the extra step and use the Buy Me a Coffee link, by all means, go for it. We are grateful. We are incredibly grateful. But don't feel obligated to do that. I would so much rather you share our show with a friend.
Yes, absolutely. We are just hoping to help anyone we can, and that's the best way to do it is to share it. But we are happy to be associated with Buy Me a Coffee. So if you can, feel free. If you can't, do not feel obligated.
And we're grateful to our sponsor, Favor Inc. as well. They've helped us out tremendously. And
absolutely.
It's just like I said, we wouldn't put our name on something if we didn't feel it of value.
Yep.
And we recently had a company who wanted to discuss a sponsorship with us, and I just didn't feel comfortable with it. So we just didn't do it. And because at the end of the day, it's my conscience on everything. It's my conscience. It's my name on everything. And I'm just too proud to put something out there that just isn't helpful.
Absolutely. And it was a product we'd never tried before, so we couldn't, we couldn't verify its claims.
Exactly, and we just didn't feel comfortable with that. But all of that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to Caregiver Chronicles over the summer. We had an interesting summer, now that it's September. It's going to be quite a fall.
Yes, we already got the Halloween decorations up.
It made me feel good to see them today. And we have, like I said, we're booking guests right now. If you want to come on, please reach out to us at caregiverchroniclespod@gmail.com. We have several inquiries. We're so excited with these inquiries that we have coming up to have these people on, because we have some great people that want to come on our show. And like I said, I'm just excited. I'm excited to add to the guest list the people who've been on. And, if you've been on our show before and you want to come back, give us a shout out. And with that, I think that's going to wrap up pretty much this family update, right?
Yes, it is.
Because you need to go hang out with your mom.
Yes, I do.
So I want to thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.